Good morning, gamers! It's a great time to talk about classic PlayStation stuff because currently the first of the PlayStation Plus premium lineup, the PS1 and PSP games that are going to be playable on the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5, have started to leak. Now, technically what's happening is that right now over in Malaysia, people have discovered that some of the first games that are going to be part of this service have been listed on the digital storefronts. Now, I want to take a technical breakdown and look at the new features, the new filters, the rewinds, and the save states of these games because this is very interesting. I am a big fan of retro games, so seeing this stuff come back, seeing it improved visually, to me, it is a very, very big deal. But let's talk about everything. What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here. Now, hi, how's it going? Please like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, first and foremost, let's begin by just taking a look at some of these clips here. So this stuff is actually kind of all over the internet. This here specifically is from Video Game Chronicles YouTube channel, and it is obviously Abe's Oddysee, the old school puzzle adventure game. Now, as soon as you see it, what's probably going to strike you first is obviously the fact that let's begin by talking about the filters. There are a couple different games that are currently playable and purchasable on this storefront. Now, mostly people are talking about Abe's because Abe's is a game it has a big cult following, but let's start things off by talking about, this is obviously a PlayStation 1 game. People were most curious to see, in the original blog post, Sony said that there was going to be some sort of visual changes. So as you can see here, there are 3 different visual options you can choose within the menus. So whenever you're playing these PlayStation 1 games and possibly the PSP games, you can choose the default filter, the CRT filter, which is made to mimic the old TVs we had in the 90s, and the modern filter. Now, I'm going to open up all 3 of these so we can actually zoom in on them. Now, you're probably thinking, holy crap, DreamcastGuy, why does this look like poo-poo pee-pee? In my opinion, part of this just comes down to the fact that this is a very old game. When it comes to ancient emulation, and a lot of these titles are like 2 decades old, a lot of times it's about trying to preserve the original vision of it. And that does, in some cases, mean taking a look at individual pixels. So let me go here. Let's show you this. So this is one of the other games that there's been a bunch of screenshots and filters of. This is Worms. If you haven't played these, they're basically these games where these little worms shoot each other with the rocket launchers and stuff. I think they're incredibly fun. But what they've clearly decided to do here is just do a basic upscaling. Even with the filters, even with the cleanliness on it. Here, let's close these out real quick and open up. This is the modern filter. So this is basically made to try and, make it so the games look a little bit better without changing it. These are not remasters, but let me show you a different example of it, of some games that have been upscaled. So this is Tekken 3. I've recorded this with a Retro Pi. This is not exactly what you're going to be getting on the PlayStation Plus premium service, but it's a good facsimile. Now, I just want to be clear again. I recorded this. This is my gameplay, but it's just upscaled. This is no filters. There's no cleaning up. There's anything. This is just the original game with its original assets running through an upscaled filter. But honestly, it looks fantastic. When you're talking about a game like Abe's, it's not always the best, but when you see something like this, I feel like it is a better example of how these games are going to look and play better. But speaking of playing better, let's take a look at the completely new features. So we've seen the gameplay here, in motion especially. I feel like this actually looks really, really great. I'm a huge fan of Abe's. I grew up playing these, but let's take a look, skipping forward a bit here. You can see the newly introduced thing, which is the rewind feature. So it seems like pretty much every single one of these PlayStation 1 games is going to have the ability to rewind a couple seconds. So if you fall down a gap, if you mess up a drift in something like Gran Turismo, you'll be able to very easily just press a button and rewind. But what else I've been curious about is this load save thing. So these things here at the bottom, these are not the rewind frames. These are the save states. So if you've ever used an emulator in the past, I'm sure you've realized what save states are. They're like these tiny timestamps. You can make it where you go back to that exact second in time. So for each of these games, you can create 6 separate save states. And in my opinion, this is a great added feature, especially if they start to add a bunch of horror games onto this service. I think a lot of people who are perhaps not used to classic survival horror, something like Dino Crisis. I was playing a bunch of Dino Crisis 2 last night. I recorded this myself. This game is fantastic, but I do feel like people who are not acclimated to playing a game where ammo is so important, or where you can just make one mistake and a surprise boss kills you, I think save states are going to help, well, in my opinion, bad gamers play games like this that are a little bit more difficult. Now, I am extremely excited for all this, but I guess what's more on my mind hasn't just been the PlayStation 1 games, it's been the PlayStation Portable games. So there's been a bunch of stuff that's been being posted on the storefront as well that's probably going to go live here in the next 24 hours. On the list of PlayStation Plus premium games, there have been these pictures of freaking Ridge Racer. Now, we do know that Ridge Racer is coming very soon. Oh my gosh, honestly, this game looks fantastic. Racing games in general are important to sort of be tech tests. They're a good chance to show the visual capabilities of a new system. So honestly, I think this looks incredible. These are screenshots directly from the storefront about how Ridge Racer PSP is going to look on this service. And to me, as somebody who does play a lot of PlayStation Portable games and who has even run PlayStation Portable games on TV, a lot of times they don't look this good. Let me show you a specific example. This right here is a bunch of Gran Turismo PSP that I recorded this morning, and it just doesn't look fantastic. This is upscaled. This is properly emulated to be something to run and look decent on your TV, but in my opinion, the screenshots that they are posting of the official PlayStation Plus Premium emulator looks a heck of a lot better than this. And I'm not even saying this looks terrible. I'm just saying that clearly Sony has found a way to try and clean this up in a way that is a better improvement. Now, let me do some brutally honest thoughts. With all this good being said, we do need to talk a bit about the downsides, which is just still the fact that PlayStation Plus Premium's opening lineup still has not been fully shown yet. It still seems like this is going to be such a hit and miss grab bag. Like a lot of times these subscription services, part of what sucks about them is the fact that we really don't know what we're going to get next. We have no idea if we're going to get, the original versions of Resident Evil stuff. Are we going to get Final Fantasy games on there? Is Legend of Dragoon coming on there? And additionally, now that we have people actually testing these games, it seems like there is not going to be trophies in everything. As it currently stands, they have confirmed that some of the PlayStation 1 and maybe even the PlayStation Portable games are going to have trophy support, including platinum trophies. But as it currently stands, now that people are able to purchase and play these games over in Malaysia, it seems that a lot of them do not have trophy support. Now, as somebody that is a big trophy hunter, this is obviously a letdown. I wish that this was like a ubiquitous thing. I wish that there was actually a good across the board upgrade to these games. But as it currently stands, I think these are decent upgrades. I think the visual enhancements are very noticeable. And on top of that, I think it's interesting that we are going to be able to purchase these individually. I have seen some people complaining that, Sony just wants you to pay $18 every month for the subscription service. But as it currently stands, some of these games that people are buying over on the Malaysian PlayStation Store, they've said they're like $4 or $5 American dollars. So if Sony does the right thing and allows people to just buy the games they want, like the idea of the choice of if you want the subscription service, you can have it. If you just want to buy the games you want most, you can do that. That is not only good, I feel like it is very, very necessary. But now I guess we just have to wait a couple more weeks for this to really truly be released worldwide. As it currently stands, this is being released in Malaysia and other certain Asian territories except for Japan. We are going to be getting it in Europe and America, I think, on June 12th. So I guess we just have a couple more weeks of waiting before we can play this for ourselves. I mean, still as a retro gamer, as somebody that loves new games and old games equivalently, I'm still excited to see if we're going to get Grandia, if we're going to get, Tekken or Metal Gear Solid. Like, I want to see the weird stuff. The final thing that I need to test for myself, like this initial impression of it seems incredibly positive. The final thing that is a major concern to me is that PlayStation Plus Premium is still only going to be streaming PlayStation 3 games, which to me seems like a big downside. I'm living in a spot now that does not have the best internet, and this may be an entire feature that to me becomes completely useless. But what do you think about all this? Are you excited for the future of PlayStation Plus Premium, or are you just a modern gamer only? Do you not even care about PlayStation 1 games? Well, thanks for watching this video, even if you hate the PS1. You guys rock. Thank you so much. Please enjoy your day, enjoy your week, and happy Monday. All right, and please like the video, subscribe, and keep dreaming. Oh yeah. All right, time to play some PlayStation. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.